about the positive attitude creates positive expectations. Talked about how a negative attitude makes things seem hopeless, useful, why improve? It's all against me, that type of thing. We also talked about how attitude is a simple choice. It's not good things have to happen to me so I have a good attitude. It's have a good attitude, good things will happen to you because you'll go out and create those, you'll be motivated to do that. First thing is rejection. We are in the business of rejection. No matter how good you are, if you look at the number of times you go to a house versus the number of times you sell, right, you're going to be told no more than you're told yes. That's the business. Now, somebody with a negative attitude, how is that going to affect them? What's that? Mm-hmm. The negative attitude makes it very difficult to deal with rejection. Why? Okay. Because if you let your attitude be chosen or influenced by outside influences, every no is personal. If you haven't chosen your attitude to be positive, that no means they're saying no to you. So positive attitude, making that choice, helps us deal with the rejection that's inevitable in this job. To not look at it as they're saying no to me. No, they're just saying no to what I was able to offer them in value in exchange for their money at that time. What do I need to do? Get better at showing them more value. What's that?
No doesn't mean
no. No doesn't mean no, right? And it certainly doesn't mean no to you personally. It means, what does it mean to you? When the customer says no. I haven't decided yet, right? I need more information. I'm not completely convinced. Help me. Usually is what it means. Help me feel good and comfortable about saying yes to you. The opposite is to say no. So attitude has a huge amount to do with your ability to deal with rejection properly. The other thing is seeking to improve. If you look at the world negatively, if you've chosen a negative attitude, if you dwell on the uncontrollable, why try to get anything better? Why try to improve? Because everything is hopeless. It's futile. I go out there and work hard, but I don't want to get a bad lead. My car broke down. Why even try? Might as well crawl in a hole and die. Nothing is ever good. That's an extreme. Granted, and it evokes kind of a chuckle. Yeah, that's funny. My attitude's not that bad. I don't know anybody whose attitude is that bad. Okay? But this all works in degrees. Right? It doesn't have to be, life's horrible, I'm going to go eat some worms, nobody likes me. Okay? But there's degrees of this that affect what we do. So if you don't think things can get better because you've chosen a negative attitude, you won't seek those methods and means to get better. Does that make sense? Positive expectations. Two salespeople go into a house. One of them expects to sell. The other expects not to sell. Who's right? They're both right. They're both absolutely right. Because selling is about that expectation. Why is that? Because if you act as if the customer is going to buy, do you act differently than if you suspect they won't? You absolutely do, right? And you see this, you go into a house and the customer's got the credit card and the checkbook both laying on the table. Next thing you know, you got your door bag, your siding bag, your window bag all over the living room. You gave a 4 or 5 hour demonstration. Why? Because you think they're going to buy. You go into another house and somebody seems a little bit grumpy, and you give them a half hour of your worst and throw them a price and walk out the door. What did you expect? Now, some sales calls look better than others. I'll let you in on that secret. Sometimes, the double wide with the cars up on blocks sometimes doesn't seem like a great appointment. But do you really ever know till the price is on the table? Has anybody here ever sold one you thought, I can't believe they bought? Okay, everybody has, right? I went into a house one time, and I'm pulling in. It was up like Peshtigo, Wisconsin. I'm pulling in. This guy's pulling out. I flag him down. I tell him who I am. I have an appointment. He's got some conflict. I said, well, can we go in and just talk? At least I can use your phone, whatever it is. We go in. The first thing I notice is that the man's bed is in his kitchen. Anybody here have your bed in your kitchen? Because there's a reason, right? So you look around and ask what that is, and I notice that he's got a gas oven and the door is slightly open. He's heating his house with his oven. Not recommended, it's probably not safe. Well, he's got his bed in there because that's how he's heating the house. And there's some construction going on, and I say, you replacing your furnace? He said, no. I said, I'll tell you what, that such and such bleeping company wants $79 to send somebody out here just to tell me what's broke. I ain't paying it. Okay? We start walking around the house, and in one part of this new addition, there's probably 300 or 400 kitchen garbage bags stacked up. And I say, boy, construction's a mess, isn't it? He said, oh, this isn't from the construction. They raised the trash collection rate $23 this year. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay that. Okay? Sold the guy $6,000 worth of windows for his kitchen because I convinced him that if he's going to heat the house with the oven, he better have an energy-efficient room. And he did, and he replaced the windows and a patio door. Okay? I couldn't have sold that if I went in with a negative expectation, because a negative expectation right there was the easiest thing in the world to choose. The guy's leaving, he won't pay to have his furnace fixed, and $23 extra to not have his addition resemble a landfill? That was all too much money. We have those stories, and the reason that we had those is because we went in there with a positive expectation whether we knew it or not. We couldn't have went in there any other way because we would have found the quickest way in the world out. It varies by person, it varies day to day. But if you're consciously choosing your attitude, you'll have those stories to tell. But not only those stories, those average situations where just there wasn't quite great rapport built right up front, your entry didn't go right. Rather than choosing the attitude that this isn't going to work, you choose it opposite. That yes, there's something here. I'm going to go in with that positive expectation. And it's hard sometimes. Very hard sometimes. The last one is the transference of emotion. And you hear this spoken about a lot in the context of sales, that selling is a transfer of emotion. There's two reasons that people will buy. One is the want and one is the need. The need is something that's logical. But what is the want? It's emotional. The want is an 100% emotional component to the sale, but the want is what makes them buy today. That says, I got to have that, I want that. Right? So how do you get them emotional about a want? You first have to have that emotion. You can't come in and transfer negativity to somebody and expect that that negativity is going to produce positivity and excitement and emotion around the purchase. So as a salesperson, if you walk into a situation with a negative emotion, with a negative mindset or attitude, that's what's transferred to the customer. If you walk in positive, that transfers as well. And sometimes it's hard. How many people here have done 1,000 presentations? Okay? 1,000 times? If that emotion is not constantly renewed, it's lost. It's chosen for you. So having a positive attitude allows you to transfer that feeling, that emotion to a customer. We'll talk about the mechanics of this, where and when and how. But the important point is that other than goals, attitude is the other side of high-performing salespeople. Do you have any questions on that? Has anybody ever bought from a negative, mopey salesperson? No? What are you more likely to do? Yeah, right? What does it feel better to be around? Positive people or negative people? Okay. So you're in a situation with a customer, and no matter what you think, at any point in the presentation, the customer can say what to you? Get out, right? Well, just like I don't like to be around negative people, your customers don't like to be around negative people unless they're extremely negative and want to have a little pity party with you, but that gets nobody anywhere, right? Well, nobody wants to come in there and have you tell them about how down and dull and boring things are. So you're transferring that emotion, whether it's negative or positive, the customer picks up on it and acts accordingly. They recognize him? Okay. What's his name? Very good. Okay. Coach? Great effort springs naturally from great attitude. The focus of today was to motivate change and to motivate behavior, motivate success. Goal setting gives you the points you want to get to, the map and the means to get there. Attitude fulfills that last part of that original quote by Aristotle, which is, once you have the objective, once you have the means, is that you focus everything that you have to get there. You can try to will that, but it's tough. When you have the right attitude, that behavior is easy. Let me ask, from personal experience, for any examples of sales that you believe that were made because of your attitude, or sales that were lost because of a negative attitude. The reality is this, is if you're in a dirty, smelly house, okay, if you have a negative attitude, does it make the house smell better? It doesn't, right? Again, you're already there, right? You're already there, you're a professional, so you're going to do your job. So being negative doesn't make the house smell good, doesn't improve the customer's credit score, okay? Doesn't make them like you anymore. It doesn't, what's the point? You get to choose every day between positivity and negativity. It's just a choice. Which one do you rather live under? Right? So with a customer, that's the same thing. I understand you walk into a situation like that, it's sometimes hard. But you're already there, you got a job to do. Might as well put a smile on your face and go at it. When you're in between appointments and you've got the option of listening to the radio or reviewing and training and learning how to be a better salesperson, put a smile on and get to work. That's really what it's about. Any other questions or comments you have on attitude, how it relates to sales? Again, we're going to look at the hows and the whys and the wheres, how we can incorporate this, how we can transfer emotions better with our customers. But in the general sense and how it affects your life and your sales career, does anybody have any questions or comments about it? Yeah, some more honest than others.
How many guys in this room would have stopped right there and said, oh?
The attitude at which you approach a sales call that's going to decide how you're going to filter what it is that you see. And when you get those situations, if you come in with a positive attitude and expectation of success, you're still going to see the same things, right? But you're going to act differently. And that's the key, is to make the most out of every opportunity. One interesting way to look at situations like that, which I think is fueled by a positive attitude, is when you get in a situation like that, when it's that house that really smells and then it's awful, I always think to myself this: if I sell this one, I got a great story to tell. Right, look at it that way. If I sell this one, nobody else maybe would have taken the time or whatever it is, but I can tell this story for the next 10 years about how I approached an appointment with an expected attitude and what the results of that were.